Why does willpower fail with ADHD and trauma? Today, we're going to dive deep into the brain science behind why your mindset gets stuck and the evidence based 15-minute protocol to rewire your brain for resilience. Most people look at that stuckness and call it a lack of discipline. They tell you to just grind harder. But as a psychologist, I am here to tell you that for people with ADHD or trauma, that advice is actually counterproductive. Here is the connection most people miss. Your mindset isn't just a choice you make in the morning, it's a physiological state determined by your nervous system. If your motherboard is overwhelmed by trauma or your circuits are understimulated by ADHD, no amount of positive thinking will fix the hardware. You can't install a high performance success software on a motherboard that is currently short circuiting, and that's not your fault. So, today we're going to look at the actual science of why you feel paralyzed and how we can build a success mindset that actually works with your biology instead of fighting it. To understand how to get moving, we have to look at the two employees inside your brain that are currently having a massive argument. Every time you sit down to work and find yourself staring at a blank screen for 3 hours, you are witnessing a power struggle. First, you have the prefrontal cortex. Think of this as the CEO. It's the newest part of the human brain located right behind your forehead. It's responsible for executive function, long-term planning, and that growth mindset everyone talks about. But right behind it, deep in the midbrain, you have the amygdala. This is your security guard. Its only job is survival. It doesn't care about your career, your GPA, or even your social media account. It only cares if you are safe, fed, and alive. In a neurotypical brain, the CEO gives an order and the security guard stays quiet. But for you, the communication lines are broken. For the ADHD brain, the CEO is trying to run a company with a massive electricity shortage because your dopamine signaling, the brain's reward currency, is low. The CEO can't get the start button to stay down. You aren't lazy, you are underpowered. For the trauma brain, the security guard has effectively staged a cop. If you have experienced trauma, your amygdala is hypersensitive. It views effort or being seen as a threat. It would rather keep you stuck and invisible than successful and exposed to potential judgment. When you try to force a success mindset onto this system, you are essentially asking the CEO to lead a meeting while the security alarm is blaring and the power is out. It's not a mindset shift you need first, it's a hardware reset. We have to fix the environment before the CEO can actually do their job. This internal conflicts leads us into a neurological state called the default mode network or DMN. In the world of mindset, the DMN is often the silent killer. Think of the DMN as your brain's idle state. It's the network that turns on when you aren't focused on anything specific. It's where you daydream, where you ruminate on that embarrassing thing you said 3 years ago, and where you worry about the future. The opposite of this is the task positive network or TPN. This is the state of flow and doing. In a balanced neurotypical brain, these two networks work like a seesaw. When the TPN turns on to do work, the DMN automatically shuts off. But here is the connection for the ADHD brain. That seesaw is often broken. Research shows that in ADHD, the DMN doesn't always deactivate when you start a task. This means you are trying to focus TPN while your brain is simultaneously trying to daydream or ruminate. That's DMN. This creates a massive amount of cognitive friction. And here is what this actually feels like. You sit down to work, your intention is clear, but 30 seconds in, your brain pulls you into a daydream or you start catastrophizing about something that hasn't even happened yet. You're not distracted. Your brain's off switch is literally stuck on position. If this sounds familiar, you are not broken. Your switching station is just wired differently. This friction is why you feel exhausted after 20 minutes of work. You aren't just doing the task. You are fighting a biological tug of war against your own idle setting. When people tell you to just focus, they don't realize your switching station is stuck. To build a truly bulletproof mindset, we have to stop trying to ignore the noise and learn how to manually flip the switch from DMN back into action. This brings us to a concept in trauma recovery called the window of tolerance. Inside this window is where life happens. It's where your nervous system is regulated, where you can handle stress, and where growth mindset is actually possible. However, trauma, whether it's single event or the micro trauma of growing up misunderstood with ADHD, shrinks that window. When a task feels too big or when you feel the pressure to be successful, your nervous system perceives that pressure as a threat. It shoots you out of your window into one of the two states. Anger arousal. This is the fight or flight zone. You feel anxious, your heart races, and you try to do 10 things at once but finish none of them. Hypoarousal. This is the freeze zone. This is where most people get stuck. You feel numb, heavy, or sleepy. You might scroll on your phone for 4 hours, not because you are enjoying it, but because you are biologically frozen. If you are in a freeze state, watching a high energy success mindset video will actually make you feel worse. It's like screaming at someone in a car accident to just drive faster. Your brain thinks it's protecting you from a predator by keeping you still. You're being lazy. You're being a biological statue. Becoming your own mindset mentor means recognizing when you have left your window. You have to stop viewing stuckness as a moral failure and start viewing it as a cry for safety. You aren't failing at your goals, your nervous system is simply failing to feel safe enough to pursue them. There is one more biological hurdle we have to address, and it's perhaps the most painful one: rejection sensitive dysphoria or RSD. For many people with ADHD and trauma, the idea of growth mindset is actually terrifying because growth requires failure. And for us, failure isn't just a learning opportunity, it's a threat to our existence. Neurologically, the brain processes social rejection and the failure of a task in the same area it processes physical pain. That's anterior cingulate cortex. When you fail, your brain isn't just saying, try again. It's sending a signal that feels like you have been physically punched in the gut. So when you are procrastinating on that big project, you are actually practicing emotional self-protection. Your brain is saying, if I don't try, I can't fail. If I don't fail, I won't hurt. This is why traditional success mindset mentors who tell you fail fast don't understand your story. For you, failing fast feels like being set on a fire. Becoming your own mindset mentor means learning to recognize that instinct. It's about building an emotional shield before you start. It's acknowledging that the pain of a mistake yields just a chemical signal in your anterior cingulate cortex, not a death sentence. We move from I'm failure to I'm experiencing the neurochemical sensation of failure. And that tiny distinction is where your power lives. Now that we have understand the three biological barriers keeping we stuck, the power shortage, the frozen switch, and the rejection pain, let's move into the actual protocol that rewires all three. Everything we have talked about, the CEO versus security guard, the default mode network, your window of tolerance, and the rejection sensitivity, is why this start doesn't work. This 15-minute protocol is designed to work with that biology, not against it. Now let's get tactical. If you have executive function deficiency, the instruction to just start is actually painful. It's like being told to just fly when you don't have wings. This protocol is your flight menu. We're going to bypass your brain's broken start button using 4 micro transitions. You can do this with me right now while you watch or save it to try later. Your amygdala has pulled the fire alarm and your CEO is currently breathing in smoke. You cannot talk to the CEO right now. You have to put out the fire. So go to the sink, turn on the cold water, splash your face 3 times. Feel the water, notice the temperature. If you can't reach a sink, cleanse every muscle in your body. Your fist, your toes, your jaw, and hold for 5 seconds and release it slowly. This is a somatic reset. It nudges your vagus nerve to send a safety signal to the brain, helping shift you from hyper or hypoarousal back into your window of tolerance. Now that the fire is out, the CEO's office has no power. We need a spark of dopamine. But here is the trap. Do not browse for stimulation. Browsing is the death of ADHD focus. Pick the first high energy song in your favorites, listen to it. While listening, you must move. Pace the room, bounce your legs or strands. Movement plus music triggers a tonic dopamine release. You are literally jump starting the motherboard so the circuit can carry a signal again. The power is gone, but the security guard is still suspicious. If you try to do the big task, the guard will shut you down again. We have to sneak past him. Do not walk. Simply touch the physical object related to your task for 30 seconds. If you need to write, just open the laptop and put your fingers on the home row keys. If you need to clean, just pick up one piece of trash. This is an MBA, minimum viable action. It slides under the radar of your anterior cingulate cortex, the brain's pain center. Touching a laptop doesn't register as a failure or threat, so the freeze response stays off. Finally, since your internal executive function is offline, you need external scaffolding. So set a timer for only 10 minutes. If you can take someone, tell them, I am doing this task for 10 minutes. Please check on me. This is called body doubling. It shifts the responsibility from your internal CEO to the external world. The timer is now the boss, not your overall brain. And once you are in motion, your executive function often comes back online and take over. A true success mindset for a neurodivergent or traumatized brain will never look like the hostile content you see everywhere else. It isn't a straight line to the top. It's a zagged line that trends upward over time because you're finally learning how to work with your biology instead of against it. You have probably spent years trying to drive a manual transmission car like it's an automatic and blaming yourself for the grinding gears. But the gears were never broken. No one taught you how to use the clutch. A bulletproof mindset is not about never getting stuck again. This is a myth. It's about becoming so practiced with this 15-minute reset that the time you spend stuck shrinks from weeks to days to minutes. You're moving from being a victim of your hardware to becoming the lead developer of your own operating system. If you are sitting there right now and you still feel that heaviness in your chest, remember this. You're not a broken version of a normal person. You are a high performance, high sensitivity system. Your brain is capable of incredible hyper focus and deep empathy. It just needs very specific kind of maintenance. If this mindset mentor approach to your neurology helped you breathe a little easier today, tell me in the comments which of the 4 steps in the protocol feels the most doable for you right now. Just write the number and name like step 3 touch. Writing it down helps lock in that TPN, that task positive network. And if you want to keep rewiring your brain for success without this thing, hit the subscribe. We don't do great culture here, we do brain culture. I have also put a 1-page PDF of 15-minute neuro reset protocol in the description. Download it, print it, tape it to your wall. Don't rely on your memory, rely on your environment. You've got this. Your motherboard is ready for an update, and now you have 15-minute protocol to run it, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Take care.